Hello, everyone. Today we'll talk about the laws concerning brushing or combing our hair on Shabbat. Um, because of what we learned yesterday of gozez and chovel, which is also applies to humans. So this is actually a very practical halacha, and we'll see some leniencies and some stringencies. So one may not brush or comb one's hair on Shabbat because when doing so, hairs are pulled out. This is actually a beneficial phenomenon. So, in the question that we said yesterday, melacha she'ena tzricha legufa, if you're doing the melacha, but you don't need the actual melacha to happen, you're just doing something and it just happens to become that way. So, Rabbi Melamed explains that this is actually beneficial based on science. Every day a person sheds dozens of hairs naturally. People would rather that their hairs with weak roots be pulled out during brushing rather than fall out on their own in the course of the day for two reasons. One, their hair will be unkempt and their clothes will be unsightly because people will see hairs on your clothing. And in every supermarket in the last 20 or 30 years, people who have beards or long hair have to wear a hairnet in order for that not to fall into the food. In any event, since one may not brush their hair on Shabbat, brushes are considered muktzeh and may not be moved on Shabbat except for the what's called tzorach gufo, tzorach mekomo, meaning if you forgot the hair brush on a table, and obviously that's not its right place, you're allowed to move it and put it even away in a cupboard or drawer because it is muktzeh because of melacha sur, that its purpose is a melacha that is forbidden on Shabbat, but we also are allowed to move that when it's somewhere where it shouldn't be. Nevertheless, one who wishes to make one's hair neater may use a special brush with soft or widely spaced bristles so that there is a reasonable chance that it will not pull out hair. Then, even if he does happen to pull out hair, he does not violate the melacha. This is because his intention is not to pull out hair. Hair will not necessarily be pulled out, so it's not of obvious psik resha, and the brush is not muktzeh. In order to make sure it does not look like he is using a prohibited brush, it is advisable to designate a brush for use specifically on Shabbat. So I found two pictures that I think explain this. Um, this is a hairbrush with wide spaces, and also the tips of it are covered with some kind of plastic or rubber, so it's much, much gentler. And the exact opposite would be this kind of brush um, where those bristles are pretty tight and also probably painful because they don't have these tips at their end, and so that's what is recommended, like not to use that kind of brush, but the other one. And one may gently rub one's hair or beard, and one may use one's fingers to arrange them and to remove anything stuck in them, as long as one is careful not to pull out hairs. This is actually back to the Mishnah in Nazir page 42a, where it says that the Nazir, the person who took on the oath of Nazirut, is allowed to mefaspes besaro, is allowed to run his fingers through it, um, as long as he doesn't intend to take out any hair. Even if these actions might cause hairs to be removed, one may do so, as this is unintentional. One who generally tugs at his beard in a way that causes hair to be pulled out must refrain from doing so on Shabbat. And by the way, for a man, it's also forbidden to remove white hairs out of their beard when it starts changing, not only on Shabbat, but in general because of Beged Isha. So that's in terms of brushing and using your fingers to go through them. The sages forbade braiding hair on Shabbat because making a braid resembles the malacha of boneh, of building. Similarly, one may not undo a braid because this resembles malacha of soter, and because soter is in order to make something better, it's more likely that you'll take apart this braid and then change it or fix it to or tighter or whatever other things you want to do with it. One may gather hair into a ponytail, as this does not create a structure. Similarly, one may part one's hair using one's hands, but one may not use a brush or comb to do so, as this will pull out hairs. So we're back to the melacha of gozers. Braiding a wig is also forbidden because it resembles weaving, the melacha of oreg, which one may not undo. Sorry, one may not undo a braid because this constitutes undoing weave, the melacha of potzea is that idea of separating threads that were connected or by mistake. It is proper to refrain from combing a wig, but one may do so using a soft brush that will not pull out hairs. So let's say that the wig, the sheitel fell on the floor or into a drawer, and then it's not as nice as it was before, and then you're allowed to do so with your fingers or with a soft brush in order to make it nicer. If a wig becomes so tangled that it cannot be worn outside, then one may not style it even using one's hands, as it is constituted as makeba patish, which is a category of its own of finishing something, finishing the melacha of anything. So it is rabbinically prohibited to curl one's hair, which includes men curling their side locks, the peot, because this is similar to boneh. Straightening hair or side locks is prohibited because of soter, but if the side locks were already curled, then they may be twirled, even though this may tighten the curls, because no new structure is formed. So some of my nephews have accustomed to go to the mikvah every day, including Shabbat. And so miraculously, when they come out of the mikvah, the peot, because they're so curled from before Shabbat, all you have to do is maybe dry them and then just use a finger and it will just go back into shape properly. One may not use hairspray or oil to keep one's hair in place. I think he also means mousse, because this is similar to bonnet, and one may not use these substances on wigs either. As we saw yesterday, it doesn't matter if the animal or human are dead or alive. So if it's natural hair that is the wig, so it's even if it's not connected anymore, and we don't even know whose hair it is, it's still considered hair from a human being, and so that's why it's forbidden. However, women may spray perfume on their hair or bodies, and that it goes into a different discussion, but not for now. So let's just go into applying makeup, because this whole chapter is called personal grooming. So it doesn't have anything to do with gozez, but in terms of tzovea, coloring. One of the 39 melachot forbidden on Shabbat is tzovea, dyeing. By Torah law, it is limited to long-lasting paints or dyes applied to surfaces that will retain them for an extended period, like walls or utensils. And the sages, however, prohibited even color that will not last for a long period, and even if it is applied to a surface that will not retain the color. One example of this is the prohibition on the use of makeup, which colors one's skin for a short time, prohibition on Shabbat, not year-round. And accordingly, one may not use eyeshadow, blush, lipstick, or clear lip gloss that provides a shine. Similarly, one may not use even clear nail polish, because the shine is provided it provides is considered color. While this prohibition pertains to applying makeup, removing makeup with water or cotton is permissible. Cotton balls soaked in water should not be used because of the prohibition of schita, and you do want the water that's coming out of it, and so that's about that. And last but not least, it is also forbidden to apply foundation, a cosmetic used to even out one's complexion. This prohibition is more severe than the prohibition of using other types of makeup, because in addition to transgressing the rabbinic prohibition of tzovea, one might also transgress the Torah prohibition of memareach, which is applicable to any kind of softer solid that like cream or shoe polish, etc. If one is using cream foundation, and so we'll stop here and open up for questions.